We start off your 7 o'clock hour as we continue to track the crash which killed 2 people just off of northbound I-25 and 6th Avenue. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Denver police first got the call just before 3 a.m. Roads just cleared in the area within the last 30 minutes. Traffic is moving again on I-25. We know that 2 cars were involved and both drivers were killed. Police tell us that both drivers were women, and we have asked them if they have any details about the actual crash, whether speed was a factor or drugs or alcohol. So far, they will only tell us that this is an active investigation. And of course, once we learn more, we will update you.
All right, giving you a live look right now at the city of Denver from our camera over I-25. We're expecting a cool evening for anyone planning to go out trick-or-treating this Halloween.
Absolutely gorgeous shot out there over downtown Denver. Dark and early right now as the sun starts to break over the horizon. Let's get a check of your Halloween forecast now with our Katie LaSalle. Katie, gonna be a little bit chilly out there for trick-or-treaters.
Good morning to you both. Yes, chilly, but we aren't going to be seeing any precipitation. The clouds that we're watching roll in this morning here over the metro area are expected to gradually clear out for the afternoon and evening. Right now it is dry, temperatures sitting in the high 20s to low 30s under a mostly cloudy sky here from Fort Collins down through Castle Rock, just at or below freezing. So definitely want to bundle up this morning. It's a crisp start to our Friday. And if kids are out and about for today, do expect temperatures to stay on the chilly side. So by noon, only at 44 degrees, we're expecting a high of 50 right around 3 p.m. Skies will clear by that point, and temperatures are about 5 to 10 degrees below average for the Front Range and Eastern Plains on this October 31st. But the winds will stay relatively calm from the northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour at most for the day. Forecasted highs in the high country from Steamboat down through Gunnison, mild 50s there. And then for this evening, clear skies, trick-or-treating forecast for this evening. It's going to be a cool one. Colorado, though, we are hardy. We've experienced way different conditions over the course of many Halloweens. We're not talking snow. It's dry, it's cool, but by tomorrow, it'll warm up significantly. I'll take you through the whole future cast if we're expecting any more precipitation here across the state in the days to come in your full forecast. Jordan.
Today marks 31 days in a government shutdown, and both chambers of Congress are out of session.
This comes as federal programs that feed low-income families could run out of money as soon as tomorrow. President Trump is now calling on Republicans to use the nuclear option, eliminating the filibuster so they can reopen the government with a simple majority vote. But Senate leaders say that is not the answer, and they're pushing Democrats to cross the aisle. One GOP senator is even proposing a constitutional amendment to stop lawmakers' pay until the shutdown ends. Here in Colorado, the loss of food assistance programs could be catastrophic. More than 600,000 Coloradans, half of them kids, rely on SNAP for food.
And right now, a federal judge in Boston is weighing whether the Trump administration can suspend SNAP food benefits for the first time in the program's history. We are expecting a ruling to drop today. 9 News reporter Jeremy Hohola is joining us now live in studio with more. Jeremy?
Yeah, all of this hangs in the balance this morning as we wait for a judge in Boston to make this ruling. Colorado is among the more than 20 states suing the government over SNAP benefits set to expire tomorrow. Here in the city, food banks and nonprofits like the Denver Dream Center are bracing for a swell of people to show up hungry as benefits expire. The city of Denver is coordinating with local nonprofits and state agencies while asking the public to donate food. Here in Denver, about 100,000 people are expected to feel this impact of suspended benefits. Again, most of them are kids. In smaller communities like in Pitkin County, the local government there has a plan to give grocery store gift cards directly to SNAP recipients. And then on the state level, lawmakers and the governor announced $10 million in emergency funding that will go to food assistance. And for those working on the ground, face to face with people in need, there is apprehension, but also hope the community will fill the gap.
You know, putting together a food task force with all the food banks that we have in our city and all the nonprofits and the churches coming together, I think it's going to make a huge impact.
And as people mobilize and get ready, a federal judge in Boston could make a ruling this morning that would force the Trump administration to keep the SNAP program funded amid the shutdown. That judge has hinted about ruling in favor of the states like Colorado that have sued to keep the benefits flowing. So we'll see what happens in the coming hours.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. A lot of families also rely on government assistance for baby formula. With SNAP and WIC threatened, the state's largest diaper bank says that parents have been panicking for a few weeks now. While food banks can offer formula, WeCycle says that most don't focus on it, but they do and often carry specialty types that families cannot get anywhere else. So a few weeks ago, WeCycle says that they saw 1,000 kids during a distribution event when they normally see just a few hundred.
It tells you that our communities are panicking. When those programs are being cut or slowed down or canceled for the month being, families don't have any other way to get these items other than to rely on nonprofits, and nonprofits then become an incredibly important entity for supporting these families.
WeCycle says that the future uncertainty is really stressful for families.
Looking ahead to next week, don't forget that Election Day is Tuesday. It is too late to mail your ballot for next week's election. You must drop it in a drop box or vote in person. 9 News has made it easy to find more information about what's on your ballot. Just text the word vote to 303-871-1491 and we'll send you back a link to our election guide.
Investigators say that a remote-controlled plane crash sparked a fire in eastern El Paso County. That fire forced some families to evacuate their homes earlier this week. The Big Springs fire burned about 82 acres before firefighters were able to get a handle on it. It's all mopped up this morning. Firefighters say that the plane went down, had a wingspan of about 6 feet, and lithium batteries on board. The plane belonged to a company that does experimental aircraft testing. Criminal charges are not expected.
Colorado's $57 million firefighting helicopter program is plagued by problems, according to an internal report obtained by 9 News. The state bought 4 of its own helicopters after growing tired of sharing federal firefighting helicopters with other states. Mike Morgan, the head of the state's Division of Fire Prevention and Control, commissioned an internal report on the program. It concludes there's low morale and overall lack of firefighting work, understaffed crews, and limited training opportunities. Morgan attributes the concerns to growing pains as the department expands, and he made it clear he would have preferred you never got to see this report.
It's a secret that you didn't want this report to be made public. You told your staff this week in an email that you were profoundly disappointed, and it's an unfortunate development that we found out about it. Why didn't you want it public?
I prefer, my path is I would prefer that we sit down, talk it through, and find a path forward.
Morgan is defending the state's investment, arguing the helicopters will prevent larger, more costly fires.
The Salvation Army is laying off dozens of workers. This is after the organization was not selected to continue managing 3 shelters in Denver next year. Records show the Salvation Army is laying off 93 people at the end of the year. They say that is across the 3 hotel shelters they operate for the city: the Old Doubletree in Central Park, the former Best Western near Northfield, and what used to be the Embassy Suites off of East Hampton. The change is happening after multiple shootings at the former Doubletree and after an employee at the shelter was accused of sexual assault. An 11-year-old girl at the Old Embassy Suites was also injured after falling from a top-floor window ledge. The Salvation Army says they are working to make the transition very smooth as they prepare to hand off the 3 city-owned shelters. They also say that they are offering support to the laid-off workers, including help finding other jobs, counseling, and severance for people who are eligible. A Coloradan who served 15 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit is working to adjust to life on the outside.
James Garner was released from prison in the spring. In 2009, James was out celebrating his birthday at a bar in Denver when someone started shooting. 3 brothers were injured, and James became the focus of the investigation after his glasses were found at the bar. James was never picked out in a photo lineup, but was identified by the brothers in court nearly 3 years after the shooting. It was enough to convict him. James would spend the next 15 years of a 32-year sentence proclaiming his innocence. Well, in April of this year, with help from the Corey Wise Innocence Project, James's lawyers proved the only identification of James in court was shaky. James was exonerated, clearing him of all responsibility for the crime.
When you're in prison, they take your pictures and they destroy them. I put my kids all over my body, so yeah, their smiles are on me everywhere. And when I'm struggling, I just look at my hands and I smile back.
James says being on parole would be easier. The Corey Wise Innocence Project agrees. They say individuals who are released on parole can work with a specialist who helps them re-enter society. The Corey Wise Innocence Project says they continue to work with James and are currently looking into compensation for him from the state of Colorado under a wrongful conviction statute.